Welcome to Property Investing with Abby. Today we are going to recover retirement, how much you're probably going to get from your pension and what you need to do now if you want to retire on a good amount or if you want to retire early. My plans are to retire fully by the time I am 40 and I'd like to show you how. So many years ago, I can remember reading a newspaper article. It was about two young guys that in their 30s and they were retired and they were financially free. And I was like, how does that compute? Because everybody knows most people have to go to work 9 to 5. You work until you're 65, 70, then you retire. How have these young guys done it? And I can remember the time I read that they'd created a business, sold off the business for millions, and they'd done it. And I was like, wow. And at the time, it didn't really click with me that that would be something that I would be able to do, that the, average people like me would be able to do that. And then a few years ago, I got into property investing. So I've always loved playing Monopoly as a child. I've loved property and I never took that leap. And I met two property investors who were multi-millionaires, Paul and Aniko Smith. And it really pushed me to get into property. So I started property investing. Ever since I've been property investing and creating a passive income as well as my job, I have money that comes in on top and it's enabled me to live an awesome life. I've had a lot of great things over the last couple of years I've been able to do, from taking my family on holiday, from buying beautiful houses, having a holiday home, all of that through property. So last year I turned 35 and this really prompted me to think about actual retirement. Now I'm a property investor, so in my head I know I'm going to be retiring on a massive income coming in every month through property. But I set myself a challenge. I thought, let's put all my property aside. Let's say I was like everybody else, I didn't get into property, what would my retirement be? Most people's plans are to pay off their mortgage, yeah? Most people go, by the time I retire at 67, I'm gonna have no mortgage. Okay, is that a strategy to create wealth or to create the retirement you want? Not really, but many people tell themselves this in their heads. And I think it's because we're told by society that's what you should do. People also pay into a pension, don't they? So they think, I'm gonna retire, I'm gonna have no mortgage and I'll pay into a pension. The challenge is when they retire, to keep up with the standard of living because of inflation, that's nowhere gonna be enough. So I worked it out. I thought, right, if I just paid off my mortgage and if I had a pension, what would I be living on? It was small. I would be living on $1,200 a month, which in the time I get to 65 is going to be nowhere near with the cost of inflation I need to live. I will have to go skin, I will have to cut back, and I didn't want to do that. So my state pension is £175 a week to live on. I don't think people can live on that now, never mind in the future. My workplace pension wasn't very good. That was £6,000 a year, so that was even worse. And I calculated if I just want to retire on an income of say $65,000 a year, which I don't think for many people who've worked hard all their lives, that shouldn't be a scary number to want to retire on. I worked out I had to save something like £500 a month now for me to retire on that money. You see, a lot of people who are going to retire between the ages of 65 and 70, our average life expectancy is going up to 95 years. So people have got to have enough money to cover that period, and yet a lot of people don't think of it. I'd like to show you how you could retire in the next 5 years and how you can do it using property. So I'm going to work out how you can retire in 5 years. I'm going to do it by I'm 40, but whatever your age you are, 5 years you can retire. I'll work out how you can do it retiring on the UK average salary. However, what I'd say if you're doing this at home is work out how much it costs you to live every month, or how much would your ideal day cost you to live every month. So when I sat down and I worked out my figure, we call it a financial freedom figure. So financially free means where you've got enough money coming in without you working and it pays for everything you want to do. So my financially free figure was made up of, I want to look after my mum, my dad, my kids. I've got to have enough money in case they need care. I want to go on 2 holidays a month. I want to be jet setting abroad all the time. I want to be able to pay for the clothes I want. I want to go out with friends all the time. So mine was made up about that. So you need to make yours up. But for this exercise, we're going to use the average UK salary. So the average UK salary is $2,500 per month, per calendar month, isn't it? That's what average in the UK is. So if you want to retire on that, what do you have to do? Well, one of the properties that I bought quite early on was a buy-to-let. This is in Rotherham, and that earns me £300 average. The average buy-to-let in the UK earns about £350. So I'm going to put buy-to-let £350 per month coming in. So how many of those do you need to retire on? I've also got rent to rent property. So I've got property that I rent from the landlord and I put on airbnbbooking.com. So a rent to rent property can make you in the region of £1,000 to £500 a month net profit. So we're going to say 1250. So if you wanted to retire in 5 years' time, purely from passive income, you could use these two strategies. We've got rent to rent, serviced accommodation, and we've got buy to let. You can also do commercial property, and commercial property is very, very passive. And the average commercial property can make quite a lot of money because it's businesses that are in there. It's very long-term income. So I'm going to say the average commercial property should make you about £1,000 a month net profit. So we've got these three things. And I don't want you to worry about how am I going to afford all this, how can I do it? We can show you how to buy property not using your money. We can show you how to do rent to rents without a lot of money. So don't be worrying about that. Let's just focus on. So if I needed 2,500 and I get 350 a month from buy to lets, I need 7 of them to be financially free. So all I need to do in the next 5 years is buy 7 houses, pop tenants in them, making 350, and I'd have my financially free. Let's have a look at the rent to rents. I need 2 of those. 2 of those set up and running, handed to a management company for me to make my 2,500 per month. And they're very quick and easy to set up, these are. People think they're really complicated. You need to know what you're doing. You need to be legally compliant, but they're really cool. Commercial property. Well, I'd need 2.5 commercial properties, wouldn't I? 2.5 commercial properties would pay for my lifestyle. Now you can see how people earn passively through property 10, 15, 20,000 because it's just a numbers game. But this is one of the ways you could look at retiring early. Becoming a property investor, and you can do this part-time. I'm a mum of 2. I work full-time and I do property investing on the side, and you could do it too. And you could work out how many of these you could do, and you could plan to retire on this. Now, I'm planning to have a lot of these. I'm planning on buying 52 this year, buy to lets. Let's work that out a minute. So I'm planning on getting 18,200 a month from 52 houses. Your goals can be small or large, but one of the things that I hope you get from today's episode is you really need to take your future into your hands. If you wanted to be a property investor forever and you haven't, go and work out your pension. Go and work out how much you'll live on. Look at what inflation's going to do. And I know inflation is a bit weird. Some people don't get it, but have a look. I think I worked out inflation meant £1 in the future would be worth, I think was it £3 something. Go and work it out on what you should, and then use that to take action. Property investing isn't that hard. It's hard because people put barriers in their own minds, but the actual process of property investing is straightforward. Thing where people think that it's hard is because they're learning it for the first time, and like anything, riding a bike, driving a car, it is hard for the first time. But if you put effort into learning property investing, you 100% will have passive income, which means you'll have freedom, choice, and be able to retire when you want and build for that retirement, and that's massive. We have seen so many people not be able to rely on the system. Paying off your mortgage, working and paying into a pension isn't going to work. So you 100% want to have a look at this. Look at this exercise. Work out your financial freedom figure. And I know it sounds a bit silly, financial freedom, but go work out yours and then work out what you need to do in achieving it. So bringing in passive income like this, like I do through property, because I've got buy-to-lets, I've got rent-to-rent SA, I'm starting on commercial, but doing this has enabled me to do some amazing things with my family. The biggest thing having extra income brings in for you is less financial stress. You know, so many people live where they're living in debt all the time. They're constantly in the overdrafts. They're constantly spending on credit cards. They've not got enough salary to see them for the whole month. Me being a property investor has enabled me to not have any of that pressure or stress. I've got money in my bank all the time. I don't need to check my bank if I'm making a payment. I just know the money's there because I'm earning so much passively. I don't need to save up for birthdays and Christmas. The money's there. And I can not scrimp, and I can take my family on holiday every year without getting into debt, paying for it through this. It's huge. And yes, people call it financially free. I think it's having no financial stress, being free to live the life that you want and having choices. If I want to quit my day job tomorrow, I can. If I decide I never want to work again, I can, because I've built this up. And I've done it in less than 3 years. And you could do it too. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've been sat watching me on YouTube for the last year, if you've seen what I've been doing, why haven't you taken action? Go out, do something. Now is the time, after COVID and lockdown, to start sorting your future and your wealth. I've been Abby. This is Property Investing with Abby. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, tell me what you think. Also guys, we run 2-day online conferences where you can come and meet me, get to know more about these strategies and everything that I'm doing. So if you want to find more information, hit the links below the video, and I'll see you next week.